Today on Here for the Right Reasons, 3 couples get engaged on the Bachelor in Paradise finale.
I mean, there was a lot of them. There's a lot of talk about them from some couples that had no business talking about it. And I think that this was probably the first finale in a while that I was pretty confident in what was going to happen. They tried to do fake outs and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like it was really obvious who was going to propose.
Plus, Kelly Flanagan tells us why Joe and Serena are her favorite Bachelor in Paradise couple.
I feel like Joe is into Serena more, but I'll tell you something. I think when it is that way, that it works out better.
Plus, we reveal which couples are giving their paradise romances one more try. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, we made it. The Bachelor in Paradise finale, and I have to say, it did not disappoint.
I mean, if you get engaged, you're back together. There was a lot of developments.
Seriously, you get a Neil Lane ring. Yeah. Everybody gets one. But we're going to break it all down. We have engagements. We have couples that broke up, got back together. We had really awkward breakups. So we're going to cover it all. But before we get to all that, I know you spoke to Kelly Flanagan recently, who revealed that Joe and Serena may be one of her favorite Bachelor in Paradise couples. Find out why.
I feel like Joe is into Serena more, but I'll tell you something. I think when it is that way, that it works out better, because I feel like girls are naturally just giving. It's just like kind of in our blood that we're just, these people that are kind of caretakers. Mm-hmm. So I think when the guy loves a little bit more, those are the relationships that are more successful, are set up for success. So you could tell that Joe is smitten by Serena. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I was like, you know what, again, like, I think that's a couple that could truly work. And again, I feel like they get each other. Like, she's a little sassy to him, and he takes it. And I don't know if he likes it or not, but I think he does. But I like how she like throws these little like sassy, witty comments at him, and he seems to laugh. So again, I could see them working out.
Always love to hear from Kelly. She gave a fun recap of last week's episode on the podcast, and she made an interesting point that, Joe is really infatuated with Serena, and that might play into their relationship well. If he's more into her than she is into him, just slightly.
Maybe. I don't know. But like after seeing like last night's finale, I feel like they're like very much in love, like equally in love. Like she seems like very smitten as well, but who knows? He is too. I wish them nothing but the best, but let's get into last night's episode, because that kind of takes us into our Bachelor buzzwords. What word sums up the episode best for you?
Proposal. I mean, there was a lot of them. There's a lot of talk about them from some couples that had no business talking about it. And I think that this was probably the first finale in a while that I was pretty confident in what was going to happen. They tried to do fake outs and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like it was really obvious who was going to propose.
Yeah. And mine was next level, taking their relationships to the next level. I mean, out of the 3 couples that got engaged, we had Kenny and Mari, Marissa and Riley, Joe and Serena. I mean, which one do you think is going to make it to the altar?
I mean, I would go Marissa and Riley is number 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love them. I think they're so on the same page, the way he was like joking with her and faking out. And like, I was confused though. We have to talk about like that weird moment after their fantasy suite when he like whispered like, I'm going to take more time to think today. And she took that as like he was doubting it. Like, I thought that was like not a bad thing to say.
No, I didn't think so either. But I also feel like he loves to kind of fake her out a little bit. Like when he was doing that, when they were about to go into the fantasy suite date, like, I feel like he likes to like mess with her a little bit. Probably not the best place to do that, but, and he did it during the proposal too. He kind of like faked her out a little bit. So I don't know if that's like his way of joking, but if that was me, I would be like, oh my God, he's not going to propose. What did I do wrong? Kind of like replaying everything in our head. But I love Riley. I love them as a couple. I mean, this kind of takes us into like who we are shipping this week. And I think we both agreed that Marissa and Riley are kind of like end game for both of us. I love them together.
I love them together too. I think it's weird because I definitely get a little weird vibes from that whole, like, I'm going to take more time to think about it, and some of the fake outs. Sometimes it was cute. I think the fantasy suite one, the proposal, I guess it's a callback maybe, but I really thought that maybe she was reading into what he said the wrong way. I don't think he was like saying, unless he said more and they didn't show it. Cause him just saying, like, I'm going to take some time to think today. I didn't think that was a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. Like, he's thinking about everything they talked about. And he also from the beginning of the episode was like, we're going to talk about kids. I mean, he had that whole story about his dreams since he was little about dreaming about daughters having cookies for breakfast. Like, it was almost too cute.
It was. I was like, why am I getting emotional watching Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah, like it was too real. So I would go with them first. Then I would say Joe and Serena. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to root for them. It's like, that's like a classic, like my heart's rooting for them, but my head still thinks she's 23 and this is going to fade out, but that's the cynic in me. And then Kenny and Mari, I'm not rooting against them. I just feel like if I had to rank them, they would be my least likely to make it down the aisle. I don't know why. Yeah, no, I was hoping at the end of the episode, they would give us an update of like where Joe and Serena are living. Like, did she make the move to Chicago? Like, how are they making this work? Like, you want that like reunion special, or at least like give us something. I want to know like what the status, like how they're making it work, why it's different from his problems with Kendall. So I don't know, but I do agree with you. I am worried about like the age differences between both couples. Like you said, with Joe and Serena, there was a big age difference with Kenny and Mari, but age ain't nothing but a number, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I don't know though. But it also, you bring up the reunion. It's such a good point. Like the last 15 minutes of this episode was updates and flashbacks. Like that warrants, we needed a reunion. We needed this to be 2 hours or an hour and a half, and then a reunion should be an hour and a half. So we didn't need all the filler. I totally agree with you. This episode, yes, it could have been really quick. We could have had Wells do a really quick like Zoom update from everybody, and we'd be good to go. Wrap it up in a little bow. And I need my updates. I need to know what everybody's doing. Well, to finish I feel like Joe and Serena conversation, your quote will lead us into that, and then we can go with some of the other couples. Your line of the week. Yes, my line of the week goes to Joe and Serena when she was like, oh my God, my family is going to kill me. And he goes, I'm pretty sure they will kill me first. I always think about that in the back of my mind. Like, what do these families think about their children going on these shows and just getting engaged after like 3 weeks? Like, it's literally insane. And it was so funny. I loved both of their like post-proposal reactions because it did feel real. Like they kind of broke the wall and they were like, wow, like we are so in love and this is great. But like, this is kind of nuts that we just did this. Like she was like the two most logical people just like followed their hearts, and he said something about her family and they were just like, well, we're engaged, we'll figure it out next. Like it was very real, and it made me really rooting for them a little more than I was, just because I was like, okay, they are aware that this is like kind of a bubble and there are going to be some hurdles ahead, not just like the ghost of Kendall haunting them. Like this is like real life decisions they have to make. And I thought that was a cute line, and they really couldn't stop smiling though. So they did. They seemed really in love. I had one more. I have to give a shout out to Becca when she said, when she was talking about Thomas and she was leaving, and she's like, when he was like, just leave here with me, have faith in us. And she said, I never heard it from a guy before. I never heard it from the last two guys I was engaged to. That's for sure. I love the little Ari and Garrett burn in there. I love it too. Let's talk about Thomas and Becca. What did you think of their like breakup to now we know they're back together? I was, I'm not surprised. I mean, she did this twice before. It failed 2 times. Like, she's like, why am I going to rush into an engagement? I don't want to be engaged. I barely know this guy. I'm not getting from him what I need. Maybe she could have given him a chance, like to see. I mean, obviously we know they're back together, but I wasn't really too surprised that she kind of ended it. Were you? No, I mean, it was kind of like what we were rooting for her to do. Yeah. I think that she has to protect her heart, and she doesn't want to look ridiculous and like leave another show with anyone, let alone with an engagement ring on her hand again and go through another public breakup. It's like a lot to handle. It was weird to see Thomas, not weird, but like different to see Thomas get so emotional. Like we've never really seen that side of him. It makes me want to think that they're the real deal because they seem so cute. And like when she was running after him and he was whatever, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical, but I'm glad that there was no proposal involved. Me too. But at first I was like, are those real tears? Like, is he really crying? Like, I don't know. I'm like, it's the same thing. Cause I'm like, do I believe Thomas? Do I not? I'm like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And it seems like they're happy. It seems like, they're making this relationship work, and I wish them nothing but the best. But yeah, always in the back of your mind, you're like, is he for real? Is he really sincere in all of this? Yeah. I mean, not to like jump ahead, but the fact that they had like Noah and Abigail are taking things slowly in capital letters, but their update for Becca and Thomas was like, they're so in love and whatever. I'm like, oh God, please don't rush into this, girlfriend. Take your time. No rush at all. What was your line of the night? Oh, I got to give it to my boy Ed, really coming in. You know, he made a splash at the end of the season. And first, after the rose ceremony, when he could give his rose to McKenna, you know, for their successful one day together, and said to the fourth quarter, and coming in the fourth quarter and still playing the game. I loved that. To then 10 minutes later, after him and McKenna broke up, to him yelling to boys, I got dumped.
I love it. At least he made the most of his paradise experience.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely more to talk about, and I think we'll talk about them later, but the thirst. I mean, I think we have to get to Kendall.
We have to get to Kendall. I mean, like, it was so uncomfortable. And like, yes, this was probably planned by producers, I would imagine, but why? Like, what was the point of it? Like, just to throw Joe for a loop, and, you know, Kendall making this moment all about her when that ship has sailed. Like, they had this conversation twice already. We didn't need to see it again.
Yeah, I have so many things to say. First of all, you're right. Nothing new happened in this conversation. Mm-hmm. Everything that was said from both of them, they already talked about very clearly. Like, I'm happy for you with Serena. This was hard for me. We did love each other. It wasn't fake. Goodbye. Like, we literally did this twice already. Yeah. So I think there has to be a couple things happening here. Either Kendall was so paranoid about how it was going to look, like she felt like she was going to get such a bad edit, or like it was going to look like she didn't feel like she said everything she wanted to say, and she was uncomfortable with what they had of footage with this and she didn't like, she wanted more. Mm-hmm. So she agreed to stick around because she thought that like they would edit it in a nice little bow that way. Or like, do you think there's a chance she didn't know that it was like proposal day? Because like, if you know it's proposal day, like, why bother? Write a letter.
Right. Yeah. And it was like so awkward that they made her get up on like that platform where the engagements happen. And like, you know, it's like this just didn't, it was cringe. It was cringe. Also, it was just, the whole thing was a mess. We didn't need to see it. I really
don't get why she agreed to do it.
I know. And then Joe, when he was like, you're such a catch, Kendall, like, oh no, it's like, that's probably not what you want to hear, but I don't know. It didn't need to happen. It felt uncomfortable. It felt forced, and we didn't need to see Kendall approving of Joe and Serena's relationship.
No, we didn't. And she kind of already did that. Also, yeah. I need to know, I mean, that's going to be on my list of Bachelor questions to hopefully get answered one day when people are out of contract. Like, I need to know whose idea this was, who agreed to it. Did she get a bonus check or something for agreeing to do this? And I mean, we see Joe and Serena again handle it with such grace. Was that what it was like behind the scenes? Were they more pissed than they're letting on? Even during his like proposal speech, he had to be like, well, my ex is just here. And she was like, really? And you could tell she wanted to be like, what the hell? But she also was just like, are you okay? Like, it was sweet. It was sweet. I'm really having a heart-head thing with Serena and Joe here. It's like, I love them, but I was just like, I don't know. Something's holding me back. I
know. I feel like if that happened to me, if like somebody was proposing and my ex just showed up, I'd be like, where is she? We need to settle this right now.
You're going to throw hands on the beach.
Get out of my relationship. Like, remove yourself. But, you know, like, whatever. It seems like Kendall and Joe, maybe we could finally put this to bed and stop associating them with each other, because it feels like at least he has moved on.
Yeah, for sure. All
right. Well, let's talk about our cringeworthy moment of the night, because there were definitely more than just Kendall.
Yes, there was more than just Kendall, for poor Kendall. Okay. First, I just wanted to really quickly touch on the Dean Caelynn appearance. They are cute. I've interviewed them before. There's something to be said for, you know, they have their own dynamic that's a little different than other couples. And, I think that they're good together. Mm-hmm. This whole thing just felt so scripted and so weird. And I know they probably were given a script, but they're no actors, and they did not do a very good job delivering their lines, in my opinion. It just would have been better if Dick Dean, I know he's like sarcastic and that doesn't always work, but I don't know. It was hard for me to buy this like love story hosting gig from them.
It was funny. I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder how many times they had to go back and redo these lines over and over again. Because, it just seemed like really forced and hard for them to get through.
And I just listened to his podcast that he did with Jared this week, and he said that producers told him, like asked him that morning if he wanted to propose to Caelynn. And he was like, dude, I'm not like doing this like on this other finale, which like good for him. And also like, I don't think he wants to get engaged in general, whatever. But then they had that weird line in there where he was like, are you guys ready to propose? And Caelynn was like, yes. And it was like, oh God, this is just so cringe.
So cringe. We did not need that at all. No. Mine has to go to Ed and McKenna split as well, because Ed just wasn't accepting the fact that she wanted to break up with him after just 2 days.
Ed and McKenna were quite the journey. It's like, you want to appreciate appreciate him for really going for it. But at the same time, it's like, dude, it's been a day. This ain't worth the fight.
Right. Just let it go. You were able to spend a lot of time at the beach, probably more than you needed to. So just appreciate what happened. I wonder if they're still talking. My guess is probably not.
I know he, like, you could tell was like, all right, I'll get your number, like holding out hope. And she was like, gotta go. I wondered the same thing about Anna and James. It almost like made me kind of sad though. I weirdly felt like maybe that like last minute spark would work. I didn't think they, would be going down the aisle anytime soon, but maybe they would like date outside. Yeah. And I kind of felt for her just because she's had kind of a rocky Bachelor journey to begin with. And it was nice to see another side of her. And they seemed like kind of like she was just like disappointed. And even though they've known each other for like a day, I almost felt sad for them.
I know, me too. But, he found his love at the end of all of this anyway with Aaron. And that kind of takes us into our rose of the night. So who are you giving your rose to?
My girl, Tia. I mean, the way from start to finish when Aaron just pulled her aside about 2 feet away from everybody when everybody else took like a mile-long walk. And she was like, oh, we're just going here? What? And he like couldn't even get the lines out. He was like, I got to go with Aaron. And she was like, are you effing kidding me? She handled it perfectly. It was great TV, and I love Tia.
And then poor girl had to like drag her suitcase through the sand. Like nobody else had to leave with their own bags. Poor Tia. They made her drag her bags through the sand. But who knows? I hope she comes back. I don't think she will, but maybe.
I want to be the Bachelorette or something one day.
Me too. I think that would be very entertaining.
The exits have been so interesting on Paradise this episode specifically because you had so many people like leaving. Just like with no mags and just getting in the car and like going away, like Noah, like from the prom, like didn't even go back to then having Tia like drag her own bag. Like it's bizarre how they set these up.
It really is. It really is. All right. Mine goes to Riley. I just love the cute moment of him talking about family. And, that's all he really cares about is just spending that quality time with his family. And, he's not looking for this extravagant love story. He just wants to, a simple, normal life. And, I think he hopefully finds that with Marissa. They seem really, really cute together.
I know. It's going to be devastating if.
Oh, God, please don't break up. One of my favorite Bachelor couples of all time. All right. Who do we want to see packing their bags and going home? I put Aaron and James. I mean, they just seem like they found their bromance, so good for them. But I also want to bring up, because we didn't really talk about it, Noah and Abigail. I mean, Noah, pack your bags, head on home. I mean, what did you think of their breakup?
I mean, their relationship has been confusing for me from the start. I think they're really cute sometimes, but I think their communication is just so all over the place. Mm-hmm. I don't think they know what each other wants. And I kind of have been team Noah a little bit because Abigail, not saying anything when he said, I love you, or I'm falling in love with you. But then, she planned to say it at the prom. I don't know. It just was kind of a mess. I'm not surprised they're together in real life, I guess, now, taking things slow. But I kind of think they're going to have the same problems.
Yeah.
What about you?
Especially all these Dale rumors now. I wonder how they're dealing with that.
I know, you guys. Claire and Dale are done so again. Did he hook up with Abigail during one of their breaks? We don't really know.
But it's so awkward. But I mean, Noah did put like an Instagram video out, like kind of talking about the rumors and things like that. But so I don't know. That could definitely put a wrench into their relationship too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they are cute and they work on paper, but something about it when it plays out doesn't really work. But I think we both said from the beginning, unfair. We haven't seen that much of them. We only really saw these like moments of one cute moment here and there, and then like a really weird moment of doubt. Like it kind of feels like it came out of nowhere. Like we don't have the full story of their relationship at all. I feel like more than any couple on the show. So who knows what's going to happen? But I'm intrigued.
I am too. All right, who are you saying goodbye to?
Everyone, because this season of Bachelor in Paradise is over, and we have 1 week off before. Did you watch that promo for Michelle's season at the end?
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. How about you?
I'm ready too. I think she's just so pretty. Honestly, they didn't really. The promo I watched it more than once, and nothing that crazy stood out to me. Yeah. Kind of like with you had, like your Katie threatening to quit moment. Mm-hmm. I feel like Matt had like the I've never been in love before revelation. Like I didn't really see like the hook, except for Michelle's pretty and all the guys are cute, and the weird thing of like who planned out their whole performance in the documents or whatever.
Right. Yes. Well, we're going to recap it every single week. I'm ready. We get 1 week off.
2 days remain, so we will be back on Wednesdays.
We will be back on Wednesdays, yes, and we will be recapping every single episode of Michelle's season of The Bachelorette. We're super excited for it, but I'm sad that we're going to have to wait a whole year for Bachelor in Paradise to come back around again.
I know. I definitely think that I need some sort of reunion part 2 drama series, but also throw Claire into anyone who had like a relationship at all in this past year. We need a Matt and Rachel like on the record update with like a big interviewer. We need a Claire and Dale, obviously, on Throws Dak and Tayshia. They're like, I need like a sit down, kind of like when they did like the 20th season, the anniversary red carpet. I need like everyone who has been involved in mess in the last year to set the record straight for me on prime time.
Totally. We need closure.
Yes.
All right. Well, Sarah, thanks for running down all things Bachelor in Paradise with me. For much more on The Bachelor, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com and check back here every Wednesday for Here for the Right Reasons. Sarah, who do you have on the podcast this week?
You will hear from the winning couples on the podcast this week, and I'm also doing my recap with Instagram influencer extraordinaire, not skinny but not fat, Amanda Hirsch. So some fun little comedy there, and also some answers hopefully from your Bachelor favorites if they give them to me.
Definitely. Well, we can't wait to hear it, and thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week. We'll see you guys next week.